Back to the Future News. I'm Abby, and today you're a part of our special 80s with the APs broadcast. Today I'm going to be talking about AIDS and HIV. On June 5th, 1981, the U.S. Center for Disease Control, the CDC, published an article called Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report, the MMWR. It was titled Pneumocystis pneumonia. The article describes a rare lung infection, pneumocystis carcinopneumonia, PCP, in 5 young, previously healthy gay men in Los Angeles. 2 have already died by the time the report was published. 2 had already died by the time the report was published, and the others will die soon after. Oh my god, that is actually morbid. On June 5th, 1981, the U.S. Center for Disease Control, the CDC, published an article in its Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report, MMWR, on pneumocystis pneumonia. The article describes a rare lung infection called pneumocystis carcinopneumonia, PCP, in 5 young, white, previously healthy gay men in Los Angeles. 2 had already died by the time the report was published, and the others were in critical condition. This edition of the MMWR marked the first official reporting of what will later be known as the AIDS epidemic, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. May 11, 1982, the New York Times publishes the first mention on GRID, gay-related immune deficiency, which some researchers are using to describe the new epidemic. The term will deepen the public perception that AIDS affects only gay men. On June 27, 1982, a gay activist group in San Francisco publishes the first pamphlet on safer sex and distributes 16,000 copies at the International Lesbian and Gay Freedom Day Parade. The 1985 figures show that there was an 89% increase in new AIDS cases compared to 1984. Of all AIDS cases to date, 51% of adults and 59% of children have died. The new report shows that, on average, AIDS patients die about 15 months after the disease diagnosis. Public health experts predict twice as many new AIDS cases by the time of 1986. September 30th, 1987, CDC launches the first AIDS-related public service announcements, America Responds to AIDS, to kick off the newly designated AIDS Awareness Month in October. The campaign is a multi-part public awareness initiative. December 1st, 1988, World AIDS Day is observed for the first time. The date is designated by the World Health Organization and supported by the United Nations. The theme for the observance is Join the Worldwide Effort. I'm Abby Mulbach, and that's all I have for you today. I'm going to take it over to their next broadcaster, Mason Barnett, with his segment on technology.
Go. Mason Barnett here. We're going to talk about technology. So for our first story tonight, we have the mobile cell phone. Motorola just released their latest hot item, the Brick mobile phone. Coming in at only 2 pounds, this device is just shy of the size and weight of a standard house brick for buildings. For only $3,995, you can purchase this new technology. So this device is primarily used first by top executives and city traders. By the end of the decade, they were an invaluable business tool for traveling salesmen, builders, and delivery drivers too. Although they were out of reach for personal use for most people. And as the decade went on, they were available cheaper and cheaper.
Go.
October 1982. Sony just released the first CD audio player to the market, the CDP-101. For only $900, you can pick up this one-of-a-kind specialty item. The costly CDs previously sold for $30 each and are rapidly decreasing in price now. There are currently 6 factories around the world producing these CDs, and they can now be sold for a much cheaper price. There are currently 50 different music titles available on this new format, including casual, jazz, rock, pop, and karaoke. With this new CD audio player, you'll be able to enjoy music in multiple locations with ease.
Go.
1983.
Introducing the new beta movie VMC 100P. Sony just released the first consumer camcorder. It is a large rectangular device that rests on the user's shoulder. It is capable of recording 3.5 hours of video. Previously, the camera and portable VCR were separate items. This BMC 100 is the first combined camera and recorder all in one small compact unit. Now, with this new technology, people will be able to have a portable video system and record all their favorite moments.
1980. Sony just announced its new portable media player, the Walkman. It is a portable radio that plays cassette tapes and AM/FM radio. Currently on sale for $200, this device changes how people listen to music. It allows them to listen to music on the move, taking it everywhere they go. It also can increase the number of people who exercise. By taking the music with them, it increases their motivation. It runs on 2 AA batteries with a headphone jack. This device will greatly enhance your experience and your daily activities as you go about. Mason Barnett out.
Go. And that wraps up my story tonight. Mason Barnett out.
This is Alex Warmus reporting in with Back to the Future News. Today is May 9th, 1982. This is Back to the Future News reporting, and this is your host, Alex Warmus. Almost 4,000 pounds of cocaine was seized in Miami airport, and a drug cartel may be at play, according to law enforcement authorities. Valued at about $100 million, this is the biggest drug bust in America to date. Are criminals working together to traffic illegal substances into the United States? Law enforcement suspects that no single trafficker could be at work to produce such a large shipment. Is there a drug cartel supplying cocaine to America? We don't know, and authorities are questioning it. You heard it here, folks. The date is March 10th, 1984. 13.8 tons of cocaine has been seized from drug labs deep in Colombia. Found deep in the jungle, law enforcement had just seized 13.8 tons of cocaine, destroyed 14 laboratory complexes, and 11,800 drums of chemicals in a drug raid. This victory in the Reagan administration's war on drugs marks the proof of a conspiracy that has been plaguing America, the existence of a massive drug cartel that is making our nation suffer. Our brave government is not fighting a single person supplying poison to our nation, but organized trafficking with a massive cartel. Today, America achieved a great victory on the war on drugs to cleanse our nation. Today is November 6, 1984. The bust of the century has just been reported in Mexico, as $2.5 billion worth of marijuana has been found and destroyed. Federal law enforcement agencies have destroyed $2.5 billion worth of marijuana. This is 10,000 metric tons of high-grade marijuana. Authorities report that such a bust revealed the extensively sophisticated smuggling operation of marijuana in the United States. Today was a great day for stopping drug use in America. The date is November 8th, 1985. Crack epidemic in New York. Is Lady Liberty being poisoned? Crack cocaine has been seized by police all across inner-city neighborhoods in New York City. America's cities are being poisoned by these harmful substances. Our nation's children are being neglected while parents consume the dangerous drug. The homeless are using their money for cocaine and cocaine alone. America. Drugs are tearing apart our nation and the poorest of our nation. Our ideal city, New York, has been infested by this drug. September 14th, 1986, and this is your host, Alex Warmus, reporting in. President Reagan's wife, Nancy Reagan, announces the Just Say No campaign and prioritizes the war on drugs as a focus of the Reagan administration. She closed her speech with, "Say yes to your life, and when it comes to drugs and alcohol, just say no." This marks a new chapter in this nation's history where we are in the midst of a drug epidemic. A 1969 study by scientific researcher Robert DuPont linked crime and heroin addiction. He discovered that 44% of Washington, D.C.'s jail system tested positive for heroin. He applied a methadone treatment program to the addicts in the city, and with that, the crime rate was cut in half with a sudden decrease in heroin addiction. The war on drugs could be a solution to crime in our nation. You heard it here, folks. When it comes to drugs, just say no. And today is June 19th, 1986. College basketball star Len Bias just died of a cocaine overdose. Another bright future has been lost to drugs. This 2-year All-American Maryland University power forward has died from a cocaine overdose. His bright future has gone to waste. Medical reports have revealed that the use of cocaine has caused a sudden onset of seizures and violent cardiac arrest, which took his life. The NBA-bound superstar's career was cut short by his use of cocaine. Bias had been described by his mother as a role model and was said to have never even drank at clubs. Anyone you know could be abusing dangerous substances. Be aware, folks, drugs take away bright futures, and today we should all take a moment of silence for a life that ended too soon. It is October 6, 1987. Is the U.S. government racist? The Reagan administration just passed the Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1986, and with it came what is known as the 100-to-1 sentencing ratio. This minimum prison sentence for confiscation of crack cocaine and powdered cocaine is drastically different. The minimum prison sentence for 1 gram of crack cocaine is equivalent to the minimum prison sentence of 100 grams of powdered cocaine, despite the drugs being taken in roughly equivalent amounts. How is this racist? One might ask. Crack cocaine is typically used by the black community, while powdered cocaine is used by the white community. There has been a drastic disparity between the incarcerations of blacks and whites during the past year. The ever-increasing gap between the prison populations of whites and blacks started in October last year when President Reagan's administration passed the Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1986. This legislation appropriated $1.7 billion to the war on drugs, established minimum prison sentences for certain types of drugs, as well as a systematic method to incarcerate the African-American citizen more than the white citizen. Brought to you from the Reagan administration. This is Alex Warmus with Back to the Future News, signing out.
Oh, I didn't see you there. Tyler Perkins here with more on the 80s, some style stories for you. This just in, the Chernobyl accident in 1986 was the result of a flawed reactor design that was operated with inadequately trained personnel. The resulting steam explosion and fires released at least 5% of the radioactive core into the atmosphere. 2 Chernobyl plant workers died on the night of the accident, and further 28 people died within a few weeks as a result of an acute radiation poisoning. OnSecure says that the part of the increased thyroid cancers, there is no evidence of a major public health impact attributable to radiation exposure 20 years after the accident. Resettlement areas from which people were relocated is ongoing. Cut that. Some more side stories for you coming at you. The NASA Space Shuttle Challenger exploded on January 28, 1986, just 73 seconds after liftoff, bringing a devastating end to the spacecraft's 10th mission. The disaster claimed the lives of all of the 7 astronauts aboard, including Krista Makaloff, a teacher from New Hampshire who would have been the first civilian in space. It was later determined that 2 rubber O-rings, which had been designed to seal the sections of the rocket booster, had failed due to cold temperatures on the moving of the launch. Oil spill? What? The Exxon Valdez oil spill was a man-made disaster that occurred when Exxon Valdez, an oil tanker owned by the Exxon Shipping Company, spilled 11 million gallons of crude oil into Alaska's Prince William Sound on March 24, 1989. The Exxon Valdez oil slick covered 1,300 million miles of coastline and killed hundreds of thousands of seabirds, otters, and whales. That's all I got. Let's crack like with the music. Music in the 1980s was all about the image and the advent and popularity of MTV. The image that accompanied artists became more important than ever. When it came to music during the decade, nothing was understood. Not the sound, not the fashion, not even the charity. The 1980s reflected the beginning of a period of great income disparity, and focus on affluence was reflected in the music. There were also several new genres that popped up, including hip-hop, new wave, and hair metal, all which have influenced music today. Artists such as Michael Jackson and Madonna occurred during this time. Want to take a special girl on a date to the movies? Let me help you out with the movies you should go watch. You Can't Buy Me Love, 1987, PG-13, about 94 minutes long. The Breakfast Club came out in 1985. It was a comedy and drama, really relatable to high school students, so it'll be good for you teenagers. In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, about a ravishing kid who takes a day off without telling either his parents or the school, but tries not to get caught. Sounds like a good mystery movie to watch.